You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the September 18th, 2023 meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning. I'd like to call this meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety to order this 18th day of September 2023. Present our Mayor Dwayne Perry, Mr. Michael Vincent, myself, Virginia Keating. We have a quorum. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular hybrid Zoom meeting of September 5th, 2023. Are there any corrections?
None here, Madam Chair.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request for road closure. Sean Sheldon, Washington Park Zoo Society, is requesting a road closure for Lakeshore Drive from the main entrance of Washington Park down to Fetters Alley for the annual Boo at the Zoo on Saturday, October 21st, 2023 at 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Is there anyone here to address this?
Good morning.
Good
Thank you.
morning.
This is just for the annual zoo event. We just closed the road section right in front of the zoo. It just makes it easier for the guests coming across from the zoo. We just direct the traffic through the park, so it just goes around the park entrance area there, goes to the main entrance of Washington Park, and then comes back out by the amphitheater. So it just directs them around the zoo entrance.
Could you give us your name and your address for our record,
Oh,
please?
Sean Sheldon. I'm the retail manager for the Washington Park Zoo.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Sean, you and I spoke last week, but it's not the actual society, it's the city that's actually hosting this. So it's a typo on our
Yeah.
agenda.
Okay, all right, I understand. Corporal?
Good morning, Corporal Wright, Michigan City Police Traffic Division. This is the same as we do every year, so there's no issues.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Is there any public comment? Is there any board comments?
Motion to approve.
Before a second, parking stickers, are they turned off at that time?
I believe they are not charging at that time.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request for street closure. Johnny Stimley, St. Michael's, is requesting a street closure on Franklin Street from 10th Street to 4th Street for the Halloween parade and downtown trick or treat from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday, October 28th, 2023. Also closure of 10th Street on the east and west side for the parade lineup.
Johnny Stimley, 3205 Sylvan Ave. I'm not sure if you have any questions.
Why don't you just go over what your plans are, Mr. Stemley?
Okay, this is a annual event for the trick or treat on Franklin Street. We're adding a parade this year to the event. We are asking closure of Franklin Street from 10th to 4th Street for the parade and for the trick or treaters. We get a pretty good crowd down through there, and we're requesting the street closure.
Okay, and how many units are going to be in this parade?
I haven't started on it yet, just because of getting approval from the Board of Works.
Okay, all right. Corporal?
This is the same area we closed for a majority of our parades through Franklin Square, so I think we'll run as normal with it and we'll have an issue with it.
Thank you very much. Amber?
We just need the certificate of insurance.
Okay, when will you have the certificate of insurance available?
I will have it. I already got this in general, and I'm sorry, Michiana Insurance for the quotes and everything else, but we didn't want to go forward until the Board of Works approved it.
Okay. Do we want to put a date on that, Amber?
The date that it's due by?
Yep.
Mr. Simla, how quick of a turnaround after the board approves it?
I say I can get it by, maybe 10 days before the parade.
How much time do you need, Gail? You need 2 weeks? Is 2 weeks sufficient before?
Did he say
10, he said 10 days.
10 days.
Mhm. Is that sufficient?
10 days prior to the event?
Yes.
I really would like to start getting these COIs like maybe the beginning of, or 30 days. That's what actually we ask for. Otherwise, we're calling and trying to get insurance at the last minute.
I have no problem with that. I know you're struggling trying to monitor it all. That's why I asked.
It's difficult for them. Okay, so by what date? 2 weeks prior, is that what you're saying?
If Gail wants 30, if he can manage 30, I'm fine with 30.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
October
even-
8th is fine.
What day of the week is that?
October 1st, I'm not sure.
October,
I wish I had a calendar.
October 28th, so you wanted it September 28th?
That's fine.
October
Is that
1st
okay
is
with
a
you?
Sunday, so if
Yeah.
you did.
Okay.
The second would be
that's
Monday.
29th. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, we need the insurance by the 29th of September.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
I'll
Next
make a
item.
I'll make a motion to approve pending the submittal of certificate of insurance.
Support?
Now call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a license application request. Manuel Rabici, Cirque Entertainment 2 LLC is requesting approval for a 4-day temporary acrobatic event under a big top tent at the Michigan City Lighthouse Mall on September 21st through September 24th, 2023. Is there anyone here to address this?
Hmm.
Okay, well, so what does the board want to do? You want to table this or you want to proceed?
Well, it's just around the corner.
This is we've done this before. They've,
We've done
Numerous
it before.
times.
All the paperwork's in order. I had just recommended that police, fire and planning just be here to provide any feedback if necessary.
okay, so perhaps we should table it till our next meeting to receive that information.
They're all here, I believe.
Are they here? Is
Well,
everybody here?
fire isn't.
Brian, you wanna, Corporal? We still need fire.
Kind of like you said, we've had this event multiple times throughout, the past however many years. From our standpoint, I know we never have an issue with it, and I know the event runs smooth. But I guess that would be up to you guys on whether or not you want to approve it or not, but from our end, we never have a problem with it.
Okay, all right. Is there any public comment? Any board comments?
Question for legal, Ms. LePage Stallbring, do we have an insurance certificate on this already?
Yes, well, we don't need one because it's not on our property.
Okay.
But
thank you.
I'm sorry, I take that back. We do have one showing that they have insurance in case any members of the public would
Great, thank you.
require it, but
Motion to approve then.
Second.
We'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is request for signage. Thomas Lobinecki, 124 Butler Street is requesting a stop sign to be placed at the corner of Butler and Elk Street due to increased traffic flow. Good morning, sir.
Morning, everybody.
Would you please just give us your name and your address?
Name is Thomas James Lubinecki, 124 Butler Street.
Thank you.
We have an issue on Elk and Butler. There was a school pickup there, the kids gathered there. And since they picked the Dunkin' Donuts there on the boulevard and Butler Street, it's like a freeway up and down Butler Street now. Before we now hardly had any traffic at all. And at them certain hours in the morning, people were trying to get to Dunkin' Donuts to get their coffees early in the morning. and get their coffee and it's almost like the same thing in the afternoon when the kids get dropped off, you know, people are getting off of work and they got to get their coffee. So, but it's, you know, it's ridiculous to see that they drive down through there and they don't even stop for the bus, you know, because it comes down Elk Street, which there's a stop sign there. And you can't really see the bus really too good. But the people going up and down Butler Street, that's just a straight run all the way from Michigan Boulevard all the way to Barber Street. So they got plenty of time to build their speed up. And when they come through there, they're traveling pretty good. So, you know, I just felt that was my duty because I have a grandson, 6 years old,
Sure.
which I'm raising myself. And, you know, as I felt it's my obligation to try to do something before, you know, somebody gets hurt, you know.
Sure.
So, there's like 10 other kids that live on that 100 block of Butler Street. And, you know, it's scary. Most of them are 10 years old or younger. You know how kids are. So, like I said, I just thought it was my duty to, you know, try to get a stop sign there and just get them to slow down a little bit when they're coming through that area.
Okay.
So, but I do. And it's a really narrow street. People basically almost park up on the sidewalks because the mere reason that if a fire truck or ambulance or something comes through there, it can't get through. If people actually park in on the street, that's just how narrow the street is. And it just takes a split second when the kids walk out and, you know, get hit by a car. So that's basically about it. I can think of. But like I said, the Dunkin' Donuts, you know, we never had any track like that down through there. And
All right.
people just,
I understand. I understand. Corporal Wright.
I can definitely understand the concern, especially with Dunkin' Donuts and everything there. Looking at manual on uniform traffic control devices, though it does say that stop signs should not be used for speed control.
Mhm.
So that would be my concern with that. I do agree. I mean, that is a very narrow area, you know, especially the other day and this morning even. It is a very tight road with vehicles being parked on both sides. So there is a visibility concern and all that, but you know, and the thing is, you know, looking at it, there's been studies done that stop signs don't actually reduce, the volume of traffic in an area. It may for a month or so, but that same traffic then returns to that area. So I don't think that's going to really, putting a stop sign, I don't think will affect the amount of vehicles that are traveling through there. It may help slow them down a little bit, but again, like I said, with the uniform traffic control device manual, you know, it suggests not putting a stop sign there.
What about obstructions? Are you talking about parked cars or?
I think parked cars are an issue there. Would you agree? Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, it's,
stop and kind of creep out to see if there's any cars coming down Butler Street, because people like that can come down that speed.
Could that be remedied by
It-
painting lines beyond which they
potentially,
can't?
yeah. I remember that Councilman, yeah, I was just trying to remember what it was, Paul, had a concern about vehicles actually parked on the sidewalks throughout that area and damaging our sidewalks. However, going through there, it's a hard thing to enforce because if they don't park on the sidewalks, then they're in the road. And then we do have the concern of fire trucks and ambulances or larger vehicles being able to fit through those. Really, parking on the sidewalks is the only option. Painting lines may help, but again, we're still going to have the issues of people trying to park, you know, right there and on the sidewalks. So
It might be, I've had a couple of vehicles, nice one. On this, but a lot of times my ears, you know, was getting out of because there's.
Sir, would you speak into the microphone?
Myself, I've had my vehicles swiped by other cars coming down through there a couple of times. My mirror just got knocked off, you know. And,
Okay,
it's a real bad issue with the how narrow the street is.
okay.
I'm sure there's probably nothing to be done about that, but
Mhm.
it's like I said, the stop sign is.
Limited parking on one side of the street. It's a possibility.
Yeah, it's like he was saying, when you come out, going east and west, a lot of times you gotta creep out real slow because you can't see down again.
Mhm.
You go out there too fast, car comes by.
Sure. What about accidents at that location? Have there been any?
I would have to, run the statistics on that just to double check and see how many there have been. Thinking about it, I can't recall many in that location, at least, for a while, but I could be wrong. Again, I would need to look that up and double check for sure.
I think we ought to check that.
This is
Okay.
some time back. I had any incidents with it, it's like.
Sir, can you talk to the microphone? Everything is being recorded. We're struggling hearing you because you talk soft anyhow.
Yeah, I'm soft spoken anyways,
Mhm.
but as I was saying, I haven't had any issues with the car being hit here recently because I just did like everybody else and I started parking a little up on the sidewalk, but I give people enough room to be able to walk through there. But it's especially up on top of the hill. It seems like the street gets narrower towards where you get over by Barker Street, and you could drive down to, if they drive through there, there's usually you see one or two cars with their mirrors missing, where people just come through here and knock their mirrors off.
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, it's just, I felt like it was my obligation to try to have something done.
Certainly.
Because
Sure.
I've seen incidences, actually, even this morning when I took my grandson to the bus, there's a lady who lives down the street from me. And the kids got a little too close to the road and there was a car coming through there. And she got, yell at them, tell them, get back, wait for the road.
Okay. All right. Any board member have any questions?
I do, Madam Chair, if I may. This is a problem that we're gonna have to confront in Michigan City sooner or later. We've got way too many streets because of the age of the town and the way it was developed that are too narrow. We're either gonna have to, like other towns that are bigger than we are, do even odd parking, all the cars on one side of the street today, on the other side tomorrow. But really, in this situation, I think we're not talking about vehicle access as much as we are safety for children getting on and off school buses, correct?
Right.
And in the direction of the school bus, it's not traveling on Butler, it's traveling on Elk, right?
Correct.
Okay, based on that, I'm gonna make a motion that this be approved. I don't want to have a tragedy with another child getting hit.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. And I understand there's lots of places that really need stop signs. That, but this one here with the kids being a school pickup area right there in that corner.
Okay.
But I did take pictures and everything of the area. And so for the inspector to come take a look and see if there was even a possibility that there could even be a stop sign put there. So, but anything you can do, I'd be really appreciated.
Just a couple questions and comments. Sounds like we have more issues on this portion of the street or with this street. And probably if we looked at it, we can mirror these same issues throughout the town, probably a dozen different times. I would like for maybe planning or someone to reach out, maybe PD, reach out to the city bus route schedule. Maybe coming up Elk is not the preferred way to pick up. If they would come up or south, if they would go south on Butler to pick up on that corner, then they would be blocking the street off and eliminate some of that danger. If that's the only danger at that time of day, I understand there's more traffic, there's parking issues, the street's too narrow. But if we're here to address just that one particular issue, as Corporal Wright said, a stop sign's not going to slow anybody down, or traffic studies have shown that little to no help putting up a stop sign. So it would be my recommendation or my thought to eliminate the danger entirely. Just move the bus in the other direction to completely stop traffic for that one block pickup.
If I may speak, they had one driver, bus driver, he used to park like in the middle of the street. He would block the traffic coming up and down Butler Street. But evidently that's a no-no, so they had corrected him and said, you can't do that. So, but it was a good idea that he had, because, you know, that didn't work. And I did notice on the Dewey Street, and I think it's Short Street, a couple of years ago, they put a stop sign there.
It's gonna have to go to
And I don't know if that's actually a school pickup area there or not, but they did, yeah, for some reason, they did put a stop sign there.
That's what concerns me.
And like I said, there's a lot of areas I understand we do need to stop signs. It's who knows, a lot of danger issues. But, you know, like you said, you know, you can, you know, look at them areas later, but I'm just more concerned about my grandson getting hit.
I think that's our concern too, and it sounds like a stop sign is not the cure for that.
Right.
I mean, people run stop signs all the time, especially if they don't see the school bus over there. They can't see it due to traffic, other issues. So I think another fix for this is in order. So therefore, I cannot second the stop sign at this time.
I will second it. And I'll tell you why. Okay. The stop sign is something we can control.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
The stop sign is something that this board can control. The bus route is something we cannot control. You would have to go to the school to have that route changed. We cannot do anything about that. And it's a good suggestion and probably the ultimate reason that it could be solved. But there's nothing we can do here. The only thing we can do is try by putting a stop sign there. And that's my opinion. Okay.
My opinion is that if you can approach the school system to direct the driver to come a different route, but then you've got to hope that the driver, when he or she is alone, is going to follow that direction and not do what they're used to doing or what's more convenient for them. So that's my thoughts.
Thank you.
Those are my thoughts.
Public comment, please.
Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I just want to note that the Michigan City Area School Board of Trustees, they meet the last Tuesday of every month at the School Administration Building on Carroll Avenue, 6 p.m. So it's, you know, they're the ones you need to go to if they want that bus route change. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else from the board?
None here, Madam Chair.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Benson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you both. Next item on the agenda is traffic safety concerns. Brad Cullinan, Marquette High School, is requesting to revisit the permanent safety and traffic enhancement on 10th Street between Wabash and Manhattan Street.
Good morning. Thank you. Brad Cullinan, Director of Public Relations at Marquette High School. So I come today to revisit the dialogue that we had in February and March about traffic concerns, specifically westbound, ignoring stop signs through our campus. We did have some temporary relief, and we were really appreciative of what the board and what Mr. Minnick did to get the LED stop signs in. And so we did see some temporary relief, but now with school being back open, we've seen that the traffic patterns continue of just flat out ignoring of those stop signs through our campus. So I wanted to see a couple different options of perhaps widening that crosswalk. It's currently about 8 feet wide. If we could perhaps double that to allow for our students a little wider area when they're going across from our main building to our cafeteria, to our gymnasium, to that chill center across the street, and to again possibly revisit the installation of a speed table to then again to try and again slow the traffic down between really it's Wabash and 10th and Manhattan and 10th.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Brad? I'm gonna need you to.
Good morning, Brad Manick, Haas and Associates. So, as part of the speed table conversation, I had two, verbal quotes from contractors in the range of $25,000 to $30,000 to install speed table at that location. And in terms of doubling the crosswalk length, I personally don't think that's going to remedy the problem. There's no physical deterrent with that option. So that's what I have to offer at this point in terms of a speed table.
Okay, all right. What about the enforcement? Beef up enforcement at that area? I know you're short-staffed. I know it's a difficult thing.
Well, and that's the issue. I mean, as former Captain Lineski can attest, I'm one person in the division and I'm requested to be at multiple schools now throughout the city every morning with not just Marquette, but, you know, Joy, Edgewood, all of the Michigan City area schools. And unfortunately, with the amount of manpower we have on our day shift, it's just near impossible to sit there all day. You know, I can go sit at Joy, but half the time I get called out elsewhere to go answer an actual call. So with our manpower at the moment, it's very difficult to be able to say that we can have somebody there, you know, every day during whatever times are available. That's just the unfortunate reality of that from the police department standpoint at this moment. Now, I mean, the other option would be, obviously we have off-duty employment. So if they wanted to pay somebody to be out there from the police department, you know, from whatever time or between whatever times, that's an option. But unfortunately, just with our manpower at the moment, we can't guarantee someone can be there all the time. I can say I'll be there. I just can't guarantee it.
I expected you to say that. Comments from the public. Tommy?
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. You know, the book Ecclesiastes teaches us that there's a time for everything. I think time has long come to pass for the Gary Archdiocese to consider a new campus for Michigan City Marquette High School. I know their school, Andrean and Maryville, they're building a new campus in Crown Point. And I think that location is they've outgrown their location. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Board comments.
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a comment. I'm a little bit unfamiliar, Mr. Minnick, the difference between a rumble strip and a speed table. It's a little bit out of my wheelhouse.
Okay, so rumble strips are cut into the roadway. Longitudinally, you'll see them next to the white fog lines on interstates. A speed table is a platform. It has a relatively gradual rise, and then it flattens out on top for probably 15 to 25 feet, and then it has a descent. So it's that nature, and also, I guess, a speed bump. You often see those in trailer courts. Those are very abrupt. They're maybe a foot wide and 4 to 6 inches high. So a speed table is the preferred alternative.
Also, probably the most expensive to install. Rumble strips would be the least expensive, correct?
Rumble strips, that would be less expensive, but then you've got the introduction of the audible noise to the campus. You've got a constant tires running over the rumble strip, and that can be problematic as well.
What we have now currently there, it's not as rumbly as it used to be. It's a little bit worn, but those were similar to a rumble strip, only they were just elevated, but they weren't a build-up of the ramp, so to speak.
And those were installed in late February or early March.
Yes, the rumble strips I was referring to were the deeper ones that are
Cut into the pavement.
yeah, an inch or two deep, and they're very loud if you run across them with tires. So
Okay. Well, I would also, my comment is I would also encourage the faculty, the leadership at Marquette to encourage your students to approach that crossing a little bit more respectfully. I've been driving on Wabash several times and on 10th Street going west and seen a lot of the students cross there without ever looking left or right. So it's a two-way street. We both got to try to keep everybody safe. I'm not going to make a motion on this.
I have several comments, and I recently donated blood at the Shoal Center. So in that 45 minutes of sitting there donating blood, watching out the window and knowing that you're concerned about this, talk about an 8-foot wide crossing. You want to extend that to insert foot here. I saw students crossing diagonally on that street, hundreds of feet wide on the street. So no matter how we paint it, the students aren't going to adhere to the crossing no more than drivers are going to adhere to the stop sign. These are young adults we're talking about. We're not talking about Joy or Edgewood or the younger children that are 6, 10-year-olds. We're talking about
young adults,
15, 18-year-old people, right?
Correct.
And please allow me to finish. I think we've been talking about this for months now without any responsibility on your end. For example, the suggestion of students or staff to come out and monitor that, like I did when I was in grade school. I was a monitor, got a little sash and the whole 9 yards. Several people here can remember that. If we did it then, we can certainly do it now. I would just like to question maybe PD or planning. Why did we start allowing mid-block crossing in the first place? Seems to me the safest route would be go down to either corner where there's already a stop sign, 4-way stop, and allow students to cross there and walk back up the block. I'm going to make a motion to deny this so we can stop talking about it and let you do the responsible thing. Talk to your students, maybe even close that mid-block and send your students up to where everybody else in the city crosses, right? At the proper crossings.
I'll second.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
I reluctantly vote as aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request for additional street closure. Trish Johnson, First United Methodist Church, is requesting additional street closure on 7th Street, going west to the alley from Franklin Street, also using the redevelopment lot on 7th and Franklin Street on Saturday, September 23rd, 2023, from 7 a.m. through 3 p.m. for the Cruisers and Crooners benefit.
Good morning. I'm Trish Johnson. I'm the associate pastor, First United Methodist Church. If you recall, in July, we already secured the closure of 7th Street from Pine to Franklin. This is as a reminder, this is a benefit, a fundraiser for a local family. We've done such a phenomenal job of promoting it that the feedback we've been receiving is that we may have more attendees than we have room for. And so last week we secured permission from redevelopment to use the grassy lot on the corner west of Franklin Street. And so all we're asking is to add the closure of West 7th Street, west of Franklin Street, just to that first alley. We're not requesting the closure of the intersection at Franklin or any closure on Franklin Street.
Okay, all right. Corporal Ryan.
Yeah, I know we already approved the from Pine to Franklin, so traffic northbound on Franklin will still be able to travel on. So we're just extending it from Franklin to that alley.
Yes.
I see no issues.
Okay, all right. Any public comment? Any board comment?
Motion to approve.
And second.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda is a Board of Works request. That's from me requesting to make changes to our form and procedures regarding all requests submitted. And basically, this is a board matter. Has the board got any questions or comments about this matter? Do you understand what I'm trying to do? I'm asking that an additional language be added to paragraph 2 of our Board of Works request form.
To be on the agenda.
Yeah. No, what I want is that people who make requests to this board appear at the meeting that the matter is to be discussed. Okay? Because we really need to have, people here so we can they can answer questions. And if they don't appear, then we may decide that we're just going to deny the request and they're going to have to, come back to us again. Board comments.
I think this is a good idea, and I think with the introduction to Zoom and other ways to get on, they don't necessarily have to be here in person. There's clear instructions on how to log on, and they can listen from their home, from their job, or traveling on vacation. So I have no issue.
Madam President, I believe, Madam Clerk had one additional request, just to add the requester's email to this as well. So I have no objection to that, because I think that would be valuable
Email?
for her office.
Yeah.
Yes.
The email, and also the certificate of insurance. We're really having a hard time getting people to get their insurance turned in on a timely frame. We're having an event this next week, and I just got finished on Friday calling them several times.
Well, I think that the forms are very clear on that issue. The forms say that the certificate of insurance must be included in the request packet. So basically, we have to enforce that, but this is a different matter. What we're here today to do is decide whether or not you want to amend the form as I've asked. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. I want to clarify now, I agree with you, Gail. I don't, it's just that wasn't on the agenda today.
No, that's fine. We'll just
Okay.
maybe set a date when we okay the event.
Okay. All right. But from this point forward, I would suggest you do not accept any requests that do not have the certificate of insurance with them.
All right.
That's the only way you're going to be able to control it, I believe. Board have any comments on that?
No, I agree with you that we have been very lax and very lenient on that in the past. And I think a couple of times it's turned around to bite us. And especially with the clerk's office, I've seen several emails going out as reminders, we need certificate of insurance. And I'm sure that's a big lag on your day and your time to keep up with that. So.
Right. And it's in our paperwork now. Our request form does have that. So you're well within your rights to do that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. The next item on the agenda is a request to terminate lease agreement. The Michigan City Park Department is requesting the Board of Public Works and Safety to terminate the license between the National Railroad Passenger Corporation and the City of Michigan City. Oh, wait, no, let's not go to that. I had a motion. I didn't get a second.
Oh, I thought I seconded. I second.
Did I call for?
He did. He did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
Okay,
did.
are we done with it?
We're okay.
Okay. This is getting bad. Okay, so Shannon, please.
Board, Shannon Easton, Assistant Park Superintendent. So I outlined in the letter to the Board of Works from the Park Board, the sequence of events that have occurred over the last 7 years with Amtrak. This is all related to building a crossing just west of ramps. Again, it's been 7 years. They had not delivered anything in the design agreement, which is drawings, specifications, and estimated costs. In the meantime, we have been paying a license fee to use property that we cannot use for the last 6 years. So I'm asking this board to terminate that agreement with Amtrak. Additionally, their lack of response to the city has cost us over $1 million in funding. So at this point, if they were to deliver, we don't have funding to build the crossing. So at this time, I think it'd be prudent for the city to just break ties with Amtrak. If funding is available in the future and they do deliver our designs and drawings, I personally would like to pursue building a safer crossing. But at this time, we're just spending money and we've gotten nothing back in return.
Thank you. Is there any public comment?
Hi, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I made a request of the Board of Works to remove the wayfinding signs for the Amtrak station. There's still, I think they only removed one of them. There's still 3 up right out here. That you approved that needs to be done. That's actually a violation of section 19.05, the Michigan City Municipal Code, the prohibited signs. You can't have any businesses advertising any businesses closed. They also need to tear down their station stop out here. They still got the shanty up and they still said it's a Michigan City, the station closed back on it.
Tommy, we're kind of off subject matter here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to bring it up under new business.
Yeah.
We have such a topic.
Okay. Board comments.
Just, I can agree with Shannon. I think that it's time just to terminate the lease. Just for a little bit of background, the lease was under $2,500 a year. We've been paying that religiously in hopes that we could design this crossing. The agreement does call for us giving notice to them. I have prepared a letter for the mayor to sign, assuming that this board does approve this request. We would be sending it out by certified mail with the 30 days notice that we have to give. I'm assuming that November 1st would be a good day for the termination date on it. So that was the date I provided in the letter. Also, Shannon, I think what's relevant too is NDOT coming in, I believe it's next year, and redesigning that intersection, correct?
So that's correct. So there'll be a total mill and resurface of Highway 12 in Michigan City in 2024, which will open up essentially 12 more feet of highway, giving a buffer to trail riders to get through the railroad tracks.
Okay. There is some solution there.
Correct.
Okay. Board comments.
What negative impact to us as a city will we have for not having this lease with Amtrak?
The only negative impact really is we need to cross Amtrak again on phase 3 of the Singing Sands Trail. However, we're talking about just terminating the trail before we get to the tracks, knowing that they don't respond. This isn't a Michigan City issue. This is a nationwide issue. There are coalitions forming against railroads. There are stopping progress on roads, highways, and trails in particular nationwide. So the negative impact is only that we may have to deal with them again in the future. But right now we're paying for products and property leases that we have no use of.
So we're still allowed to walk our bikes across the crossing. There's nothing they can do in that aspect.
Yes.
It'll be the crossing now for the trail would be on NDOT right away, and NDOT's a trail partner.
I would add a comment, if I may, for the public's benefit, so they understand the railroads in this country are the most uncooperative entity that municipalities like Michigan City have to deal with. It took over a year to get the CSX crossings on Ohio Street and Tilden done. And Amtrak, I think, is competing with the rest to be the most uncooperative. So I would definitely support this. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Thank you.
Next, thank you. Next item on the agenda is a memorandum of understanding. The Unity Foundation of LaPorte County is requesting approval of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Michigan City and the Unity Foundation of LaPorte County to expand the American Rescue Plan ARP funds by providing grant support to nonprofits that improve the life of Michigan City residents in the amount of $7,500. And just for the record, funding has been approved on this. Does anybody want to address this?
Madam President, the board already approved round one. This is directly tied to the ARPA funding that we received and the Unity Foundation reviewing the grants from charitable organizations to access that money. So it's a platform that's helped the city in reviewing the applications.
Okay. Is there any board comment?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
We'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is awarding of bids. Brad Minnick, Haas and Associates LLC is recommending the awarding of the bid for the citywide pavement striping project. Brad?
Just a recap of the bids received at the last Board of Works meeting on September 5th. Traffic control specialist had a base bid of $204,705.53. And the second bidder, CE Hughes Milling Incorporating, had a bid of $238,787.42 on the base package, which included Ohio Street, Washington Street, Franklin Street, and Greenwood Avenue. In addition to the base package, there were 3 alternates. Alternate 1 being Woodland Avenue, alternate 2 being County Road 400 North, Kiefer Road, and alternate 3 was 4 parking lots for the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission in conjunction with the Nickty Double Track project. For grand total bids of $275,811.29 for traffic control specialist and $323,060.64 for CE Hughes Milling Incorporated. So it is my recommendation that we award the bid to traffic control specialist.
Okay, thank you. And for the record, funding's been approved for this. Is there any, did you have a comment?
I just have a quick comment. So the award would be for the base and all of the alternates that we have funding for the complete project. And then also just for the record, TSC, when we calculated all of their math, they had a mathematical error on the base bid of Ohio Street. It was incorrectly submitted as $41,130. But when Brad and we both did the math independently, it should have been $41,766.50. It still makes them the lowest bidder. We still recommend the approval of the same.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Is there any board comment?
What's their time frame to do this before or after winter?
The intention to have it completed this fall. I would like to issue the notice of award and notice to proceed this week and possibly schedule a pre-con this week as well. And that way we can get them going as soon as possible. They have 50 days to complete the work was the allowance we gave them in the contract. So if they started, say, October 1st, they would have till November 20th approximately to complete the work.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comment?
I make a motion to approve.
Support.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the payroll docket for September 9th, 2023. City payroll, $727,866.76. September 1st, 2023, city pension, $220,103.08. The claims docket for September 18, 2023. Municipal claim $1,443,722.59. Health and Life Insurance Fund, $281,664.88. CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant, $42,527.16. Workers' Comp Trust, $218,003.32. Total claims, $1,985,917.95. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve as read.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. At this point now, we're going to be having an appeal hearing. Does anyone wish to take a short break? Anybody on the board wish to take a short break or want to proceed? You okay? Okay. Then we have an appeal hearing. Eileen Maynard, homeless, is requesting a hearing to appeal condemnation of her house located at 908 York Street. Now, anyone who is going to testify, please take seats in the front row here. Just have a seat, please. Today's date is September 18, 2023. We're here today in the matter of an appeal from a condemnation order filed by the petitioner Eileen Maynard on 9/11/2023. Present is Ryan Beal. Also present is Jeff Lineski and Sue Downs. Representing the Michigan City Planning and Zoning Department. Will all the parties please stand? And any witnesses who plan on testify? And raise your right hand so I can swear you in. Do you solemnly swear under pains and penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth? Are you also going to testify?
Yes.
Okay, then raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear under penalties of perjury to test that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, everybody signify. I don't hear aye. Okay, all right. You can be seated now. I will now explain the hearing procedure we will follow today and then the proceeding to the hearing. Please listen carefully. These matters come before this board on Eileen Maynard's appeal from a condemnation order issued by the Michigan City Planning and Zoning Department for her property located at 908 York Street, Michigan City, Indiana. Eileen Maynard is the petitioner in this matter, thus she will present any evidence to the board first. The Michigan City Planning and Zoning Department is the respondent, and after the petitioner presents her case, the respondent, Michigan City Planning and Zoning Department, will present their evidence and testimony. Petitioner will be given the opportunity to present rebuttal evidence. The petitioner, the respondent, and any witnesses called must clearly state their name and address for the record at the start of their testimony. After each witness testifies, the opposing party may cross-examine that witness. After all evidence is presented, both parties may present their final closing statements. The board is vested with the authority of either sustaining, modifying, or withdrawing this condemnation order, depending on this board's findings. This board may render its decision immediately upon conclusion of the evidence or take the matter under advisement and render a decision at a near future meeting. This board shall render findings of fact relative to its decision, which shall be reduced to writing. If the board sustains or modifies the order, it shall be deemed an order. At the completion of this hearing, the board by motion will state whether it is ready to decide this matter now or will take this matter under advisement. We're ready to proceed. Please call your first witness. Are you going to testify, Ms. Menard?
Yes, I am.
Okay, would you state your name and your address, please?
My name is Eileen Maynard. My address is actually 908 and a half York, which is a separate legal residence, utilities, and everything else from 908. But I am a co-owner of that house, the 908 and 908 and a half. Ownership is also split with my son who's incarcerated. My son has been the source of the problem, and all the associates that he's invited into 908. He has a big heart. He wanted to help out a lot of homeless people. They took advantage of us. They stole, they vandalized, they trashed the place. They pretty much made it unlivable and wanted to use it for illegal activities, apparently. I kept asking these people to leave. They kept coming back. One of them even stole my car at one point. And it's been a nightmare living there. Right now, what I'm asking for is it's highly doubtful that I'm going to have the funds to repair that, to meet all the code violations within 30 days. But I would like those 30 days to access my own apartment. I will not be living in it. I have a motel room. Actually, to be honest, Your Honor, I have no desire to ever live there again. But I would like to be able to retrieve some of my belongings so I don't have to replace everything I own. And I will undertake certain sanitation precautions while I'm there. I have ozone machines. I'm willing to bring in bug bombs and stuff. Just, long enough to have enough time to find a decent apartment. Right now, I'm living in a motel room, which there isn't room to move a lot of stuff into. But I would like to move some stuff.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else who wishes to testify?
And also,
Madam President, I just have one question. So ma'am, you're really not essentially contesting this, correct?
I'd like to leave it open that in the next 30 days, if for some reason I am able to get the funding to repair all the violations in here, that I'm able to do it, that I'm able to re-challenge that. That is highly unlikely, slightly possible, but even if I got the funding, the type of violations would require more than 30 days to fix.
So do you contest that the property is condemned?
Pardon?
Are you contesting that the property is condemned?
I'm contesting, I'm not a very legal person. That's not my area of expertise. I'm requesting that we have time to fix things if we have the means to, that we can reopen it to, give it a reasonable amount of time before the city tears it down, to at least see if there's some way that we can salvage this. I personally don't want to live there, but my son is incarcerated. After that, he's going to inpatient rehab. To him, it may be important, but to him, it is important.
Just for the record here, I have a copy of the appeal before me here. And what it states is the appeal is regarding condemnation of my house at 908 York Street, request to maintain habitable living space upstairs and hearing. So basically, this was supposed to be a hearing on whether or not you believe the house should be condemned. That was our understanding, but that's not what you're asking. You're not contesting that this house should be condemned. Is that correct?
Not sure how to answer that without legal representation. I'm requesting that there be an option that, I'm not requesting that the violations, I'm not contesting the violations exist. What I am asking is time to reopen it if the violations can be fixed.
Ma'am, you have no intention of residing there right now, correct?
Not in its current state. The vandals have done too much damage. There was a police call just when I did have access. I came home one day and somebody came in. I confronted him as he was coming down the stairs. He had completely demolished the door to my apartment. And until not all the offenders were arrested with the sweep, apparently there were still people coming back there vandalizing. I suspected since I left there and went to a motel room, while I was sleeping in front of the house in the car, at least I had a handle on, it was a deterrent. But I work 4 nights at least a week, 12, 14-hour shifts. I work in healthcare. I don't socialize. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. Really, all I do is work. It's very exhausting work, so having the time to do everything the city wants me to do, find an apartment and do all this and handle all these repairs in this short a time, especially when I didn't have access to my apartment or the internet. I've only had that access for a day or two. I actually had applications that I had to complete from my computer, but I didn't have a place for my computer. Now I have my computer hooked up in the hotel room.
Based on the fact that Ms. Menard is not stating a claim that she wishes that she objects to the condemnation, believes it is not a correct decision on the city's part, and based on the fact that there is a failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted by this board, that is to let her go in there and do all the things that she wants to do, I would suggest that the board take that into consideration, and perhaps a board would like to make a comment before we rule, but I think that we pretty much have heard everything we need and can make a decision based on the fact that there is no claim here that we can give relief to. I would support dismissing this.
No, you want to uphold the decision of the planning.
Uphold and dismiss this.
What would you propose dismissing, Madam Chair?
It doesn't, we can't do anything about what she wants. Ignore what I said. I'm talking legalese. I'm used to a little bit different forum in that case. Okay.
So Mayor, basically the board's going to uphold the decision to condemn issued by the planning department.
Uphold the departments. Okay. I have several, I've read this letter that you wrote, and I have several questions. You say you're working now.
Yeah, I've been working at the same place for 8 years. I worked all through the COVID epidemic, and I work in healthcare. I am the only employee where I work for a 12-hour shift. I'm usually relieving somebody who worked a 12-hour shift. We handle all the healthcare needs of our residents as well as their living things. I work night shifts. A lot of the activity that went on at the house apparently went on at night. Most of the time I was not there. I'm also very hard of hearing. When I come home, my hearing aids generally go into the charger. I don't always hear what's going on in the downstairs. Sometimes I feel vibrations.
Well, there's some inconsistencies here, ma'am. You say in your letter that you figure it would be cruel and unusual to force a 71-year-old woman onto the streets with no alternative residence. You said you're staying in a motel. So you have.
Staying in a motel. This is not a permanent residence. I have no place, obviously, to move most of my things. I would like to retrieve some more of them, though, a few more of them.
The residence that's in question about demolishing do you have utilities in that house? Do you have electricity and water?
Yes, the tax bills, the utility bills, the water bill, I have kept current.
Okay, the issue here is, are we upholding the order? I would need to have a board decision on that.
Option to go back up inside the house, just to.
I just have a question, maybe code can answer, or if all she's asking for is to go back and retrieve her items, is the house safe enough to do that? Does she need a contractor to go in to do that? Or does code have to be present while that is happening?
Papers that need to be sorted through that are gonna take a long time.
Morning, Jeff Lineski, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of Michigan City. I've expressed to Ms. Menard the entire process since it's been condemned that we would allow her into the home to retrieve any items. In fact, last Friday, she contacted me and wanted to get some items out. My fellow Code Enforcement Officer, Chris Vandenberg, called Ms. Menard back and a couple times, but she didn't answer. But we're more than willing to allow her to go back into the house and get the items that she needs. Structurally, it's not unsafe. There's other conditions that exist that make it unsafe, but structurally, she can go back into the house and retrieve those items.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to uphold the condemnation.
I'm going to second that motion because one thing that we did not discuss are the illegal activities that you've stated are going on downstairs. They're still going on, ma'am.
Ma'am, you gotta use the microphone, please.
I don't know that for a fact.
Ma'am.
Step to the microphone.
The people that were in the house were arrested. They are no longer on the property, or they are no longer allowed to be on the property. Since I'm not there, I have no idea whether they're finding a way to sneak onto the property by climbing in the upstairs windows, which is one thing I want to do. Get up there, close those windows, try and secure them. I've got an air conditioner stuck outside the window that has been running since the last time the city took my lock off and put their lock on. I've had, my lights on and stuff. I'd like, a chance to turn some of that off and part of the reason, though, we left the lights on is so we could see it. There was something else.
My support stands.
The windows, I think.
My second stands.
It's been in the basement at least.
Thank you. I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Condemnation order remains in full effect. Next item on the agenda is this hearing is adjourned. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a pending items list. Jessica Bresco wanted speed limit signs located on Park Avenue. We were going to, Park Street. We were revisiting this today. Brad? And Corporal?
I had an opportunity to visit the site after the last Board of Works meeting and did observe that the pavement is only 15 feet wide in that section of City Street. So I understand, have a better understanding now of the concerns. And I would support additional speed limit signs and welcome Corporal Wright's input as well.
I don't have too much input, quite honestly. With Brad's work and everything, I would agree that speed limit signs in that area would be beneficial.
Okay, all right. Is there any public comment? Board comment?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll abstain.
I'll second that motion. I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Abstain.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is Barry McDonald's requesting to purchase a vacant property owned by the city of Michigan City on Wild Rose Drive.
Madam President, I'd ask to keep this on for another month and revisit it the second meeting in October. I know Sanitary's here. They originally came to the meeting about a month or so ago, indicating there was an objection, but Sanitary has looked at it again, and as long as there's an easement going through the property that was recorded ahead of time, I think that would satisfy their needs. So it's something that we're exploring, how to get that easement there before we put it up for sale. So thank you for coming, Steve.
Steve Stanford, Michigan City Sanitary District. Yes, Sanitary District supports, so long as we're provided with the easement we need for our open ditch and that the recorder's fee is paid.
Thank you.
So again, we're working on that right now. We're not ready to offer it for sale until the easement is in fact in place.
Okay, it'll remain on until till the second meeting in October. Okay, next item on the agenda is Don Prespolinski, a work order to be submitted to CSX Railroad Crossings for repairs at Woodland, Risky, Carroll, and Greenwood Avenue. Is there any progress on this, Mayor?
Well, as I said before, the railroads in this country are incredibly hard to deal with. I've been in communication regularly with CSX since June, and because of what I went through before on Toledo a year ago, I now communicate with a regional group in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I have had no commitment to a date. Now we're approaching the end of the year, and it's I'm asking for nothing more than an asphalt and tie replacement like was done on Ohio Street. Until then, I will continue, but I would say in all probability, we will not get a commitment until next spring.
Thank you.
Because it's gone on too long.
Thank you for that report. We'll just leave it on the pending items list and revisit it. How much longer you want, 6 months or 4 months?
I would revisit it March of 2024.
Okay, all right. Next item on the pending items list is Paul Prespolinski's safety concern regarding the 88 corners for the double tracks on 10th and 11th. Brad, what's going on with this?
I met with Nick D, project inspection personnel last week, and they're still working on the 88 crosswalks. And we had discussed a walkthrough for the project in anticipation of open up 11th Street to one-way traffic in early October with the intent to have that walkthrough this week. We haven't yet scheduled it. So I would ask that this continue on the pending items list until the second week of October,
Thank you.
second meeting in October. excuse me.
Thank you. That concludes the regular business of this board. Moving on then to public comment. Any matter requiring board action will not be discussed under the public comment section of Board of Works meetings. All matters that require board action must be placed on the agenda using the forms and procedures available at the clerk's office. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes. All comments are to be addressed to the board president, not to individual board members. All comments must be germane to and within the mandate and authority of this board. Tommy, you can finish if you want to finish what you were talking about before, you may do it now.
I just want to mention that we still have the Amtrak, Tommy Klavick, 1316 Ohio Street. You know, I did put in a request about a year ago. I think Drew was on the board back then, but to remove the Amtrak wayfinding signs. I think there was 4 of them. They only took 1 of them down. There's still 3 of them up. There's no need to have those wayfinding signs there because Amtrak closed their station stop back on, I think, April 12, 2022. So
are you, Mr. Klavick, are you 100% sure that it is not a whistle stop? That if somebody's
they're totally closed, that's totally closed. They got, take the train, you got to go up to New Buffalo if you ride Amtrak. It's not a whistle stop. It's totally closed.
Okay.
And, it is prohibited to have any signage in the city for advertising a business that's closed. And they also still got their signage for their stop and the shanty up. And that, I think that would probably, promote vagrancy there. And what, I know people dump at the old Arcadia building there. I know that's where they're way behind on their taxes and all that. I also said that I am a member of the Michigan City Fire Merit Commission. I'm the Common Council's appointee. And Saturday we had our physical agility test out of the facility in Hitchcock. We had 23 that passed the written test. Only 1 person didn't show up for the physical agility test. Unfortunately, the ones we did test, only 2 were Civil City residents. And 1 was from Potawatomi Park. I don't know if they could get their residency points. I emailed you that question. But of the 22, there were 22, only 3 failed the test. They couldn't get off. The first thing they got to do was a stair climb. They just couldn't do it. But I think we got some really great applicants coming. We're going to set our interviews for October 7th. I know we did have a disciplinary hearing last week. It was on the 14th. I'd like to really consider no longer using Working Well Clinic as our drug testing site. We need to find a new vendor for that. That's all I want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Regarding the removal of the signs, did you want to put that on the pending items list?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right. Any board comments?
Good here.
Just like to comment, the last meeting I requested a data for the flock systems to see how that was running, and I heard something on the radio, and there might have been a press release and a presentation at the last council meeting. I don't see Chief Forker here today, so just waiting for that for us, for our own data collection at this board.
I'll instruct the chief to be at our next meeting. Apologize for that. I was not at the council meeting either. I had an unexpected visitor in town.
Okay, and we also were looking for some kind of street light data. I know we have a workshop coming up on a street light policy, but I'd like to see some data, even maybe before that meeting would be nice, to see if street lights do deter criminal activity.
Okay.
But also, I have one more comment. About a month ago, I talked about the homeless issue. We're probably going to see it go down a little bit now that our tourism season is over. But I still want to let everybody know that it's still, in my mind, it's still on the agenda to have something ready to go for next tourism season. And to address that, and Mayor, maybe you can help me out. Is there a a nonprofit. It's a City for Concerns of Homeless. Are you?
I'm not exactly familiar with what you're talking about, but we do have the second meeting scheduled. We scheduled it through the Chamber of Business, the Chamber of Commerce, so our businesses were there. Fair amount of members of the public were there. It was a fruitful meeting, and we scheduled a second meeting for the first part of October.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.